podcast, the Cowboys' Malik Hooker said Micah Parsons should be fourth in line to get paid behind CD and Zach Martin and Dak Prescott. Listen to this.
I wouldn't put Micah yet. I feel like we still got a lot to prove. Micah still has a lot to prove. Like he's done a great job his first couple years in the league. Don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic player. But I feel like Micah still has a surface that he don't even know that he can scratch as far as what he's doing. So I would say Micah. I would say Micah's last, just for that reason. Then.
Wow, Keyshawn, how surprised were you Malik Hooker said that?
I was surprised. I mean, but last to get paid. So they got a couple guys that they got to address financially. Okay. That Micah's gonna make about $2.5 million as a first-round pick this season.
So can they address him this year though?
Yeah, they can address it. Okay. They could get it done. But they got Dak, they got CD, and Zach Martin still has 2 years left. But you want to kind of maybe take a look and sniff around that so you can get him early for less money. I was surprised though, Skip, because typically as a player, you don't really get into other people's financial mess unless I'm endorsing them to get paid.
Yes. Man, what?
So it's like, should Skip be paid and Paul be paid? Which one goes first? Man, they both should get paid.
Yeah. Boom.
They both, and so I tried to even help him walking back a little bit.
And he sort of did.
Yeah, he sort of kind of, but I asked him the question. The question was simple. You got 4 guys coming up. Which one should go first? Because that's the conversation. Should it be CD Lamb, the receiver who had a phenomenal year?
You set him up, Key. You set him up.
Should it be Dak Prescott? Should it be Micah Parsons?
No.
Zach Martin? But Micah is on the side of the unit that he plays on the defensive side, though, Paul. So in the end, I probably would have just said, man, all of them got to get paid. Yeah. Period. They need to get paid to a whole nother level. Or even if you say CD Lamb, because right now all these receivers are going, and all these receivers are getting paid. They get 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80 million guaranteed. They getting money. So CD naturally would be one. Dak Prescott is making $50 million this year. Micah's making, I think, 2.5. Yeah. So I would naturally want the dude at 2.5 to jump in front of the quarterback and right slightly behind CD. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was a little shocked, although he did acknowledge the fact that Micah doesn't even understand where he could potentially be. So with that, maybe he meant to say, don't do it now. Let's wait in this completely back the Brinks truck up when you go off this year, and there's no need to rush into it. That's kind of what I was hoping that I was getting from this. Maximize your opportunity to get paid. Because if I always tell you, when you go early, you're giving a team a discount. It's just what it is. If I'm going early, they getting a discount. They are getting a discount. Malik, I'm sure Malik is like, I probably didn't want to say that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not in the football fraternity, Key and Skip, but I am in the professional sports fraternity. And I understand that there's an unwritten rule. And you don't have to say this. You don't talk about another player's position on money. Ever. And like you said,
you do. I'm just gonna say pay him.
Not in a way like he did it. I know he didn't mean it, probably like how it came off. I get it. But like when you speak on the teammates, even if I didn't like a teammate and they asked me about him, oh yeah, he probably should get the max, or he probably should be getting a new contract. I mean, I just think that's just an unwritten rule when you're talking about in a podcast or to the media. When you ask about a player, like, all of them at the same time. It shouldn't be no rank in how, you talk about a teammate, a ranking order when it comes to finances, like you said. And you mentioned it, and I know you tried to walk it back. But I just like, man, because as a teammate, I'm looking like what? Like, I should be fourth in line to get paid? Really?
Forfeit line.
I should be fourth in line.
Because what that does to me,
first of all, out of all the guys that's ahead of me, they make more money than me. So why not me be first? It's time for me to eat, right?
Micah,
If I ate the less, why do I have to be last more?
well, he is probably, out of the four, I would say Mike is probably the most decorated of the four right now, right?
No, he's not
Wouldn't
the
you
most
say?
decorated.
Of the four?
No, I mean, Dak is he's the OG. Dak.
Yeah, but Micah is tabbed as the next great pass rusher.
I agree with that.
You know, three-time Pro Bowl,
So like my
All-Pro, all that sort of
like if I'm
stuff.
sitting right there, Key, and you ask me who, hey Paul, you know, you got Ray, Kevin, and Rondo all in line for a contract. Who you think? Man, all of them got to get paid. All of them, right? They need to just sit them all down at one table and just have the sheets lined up right there. Sign them all on the same day because we need them.
But what
We need
that
all of
does,
them.
but what that also does for me is it reveals how somebody in a locker room perceives how somebody is supposed to step up to the plate. Because even with the Dak Prescott, putting him behind a center, I mean, you know, behind the offensive lineman is a little head scratcher to me because he's a quarterback.
Well, it don't matter. You know, Dak done made a lot of money already.
Yeah, but do you still
I just
not
feel
put
like
the-
this can cause something in the locker room. This could really, like, I got to call him today, like, man, like, you know, like,
Whatever.
when you talking about this type of stuff, give me some more love or something. Like for real, I need you to, like, this is a sensitive subject to me. I got a chance to take care of my family for a long time. Like,
Well, he didn't say he shouldn't be paid.
no, I didn't say
He
that,
just
but
said
like,
that he
why
would
I got to be fourth in line?
address it later and
I need,
address the other ones
if
first.
he can eat right now, if he can go into that Jerry Jones right now and sign, you don't think he want to do that right now?
What you think, Skip?
The oldest locker room rule is don't mess with another player's money.
Period.
But
You know
Keyshawn
that.
Johnson.
John set him up.
Man, will you stop?
He set him up. He set him up.
Man, I just did my job asking me a question.
That was a setup question.
Oh, God, stop.
You set him up.
Said he was.
Keyshawn. In another way, this was music to my ears because what have I been telling you about Micah for 2 years? He has not lived up. And we had him way too high up because we were putting him in the conversation with Lawrence Taylor. He was in the conversation 2 years ago. Is he the
I
next?
wasn't on the show.
I understand. I got it. But I was, and I did. And I have regretted that because he has not lived up. He has not been able to sustain very good starts to the last 2 seasons because he has tailed way off down the stretch of the last 2 seasons, last 6 or 7 games. I might even go so far as to say he started to disappear. Maybe he got worn out. Maybe he got worn down because he's not the most physical player. Maybe the giant tackles just engulfed him
Maybe they
and just
start
bullied
double-teaming
him.
him.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things.
A lot of things can happen. But all I know is he's now played in 4 playoff games, and in 4 playoff games, he has 1 total sack. And it came in a blowout of Tom Brady's Bucks in Tom's swan song game. Remember that?
Yeah,
Okay, so you got 1 cheap win in that game because everybody was sacking Tom in that game. And that's all you got. And last year, I had to watch a playoff game. I was forced to watch the whole thing in which you played the Green Bay Packers, the youngest team in the league, and you registered your worst stats of your career.
Really good
of your
quarterback in
career.
Green Bay, though.
He is really good, and he's going to be even better. But the point is, I start to look at this as maybe he broke the unwritten rule, but I kind of like the constructive criticism. I kind of like the motivation. I kind of like a safety on defense. And I don't know if you can go as far as a leader, but he's a veteran safety. Maybe he felt like it's time to call Micah out a little bit because it was constructive criticism. He says he doesn't even know the surface that hadn't been scratched because he hadn't scratched it, man. We look at the package of explosiveness, of size and length and explosive quickness, the likes of which I've never seen before at that, what do we give him, 260-ish or whatever, 250 maybe?
But look, man,
Hey,
dude can go.
he can go.
He can go. He just tails off at the end, and he needs
tails
to
off.
correct that.
Okay.
It don't matter.
All right, but my point is, hadn't scratched that surface. If you could sustain, if you could get hotter down the stretch, if you could start piling up the sacks, you haven't even come close to being Defensive Player of the Year. In the last 2 years, you were the betting favorite going into the year. And then
I think he's the betting favorite again.
I think he is. I believe he is. But, you know, it's like T.J. Watt just takes over down the stretch of a season. And then Myles Garrett, he took over from first game to last game last season. Where was Micah? Where are you, Micah, down the last 5, 6, 7 games? Well, maybe that's what